This is Rogue Trader News with Maximilian de Ingana, reporting tonight from above Atlantis in the Altus system. Tonight on our weekly sector update, we welcome a new member to the news team, Adeptus Scribe James the Eternal. Also, is there an oak Waagh growing? What to do if your fungus fights back? Then, are your neighbors chanting all night long and keeping you up with screaming? Stay tuned to find out what to do as we bring you this report from Titus. Following that lovely report, we shall head over to our field reporter, Guy de Dip, as he checks out the wonderful world of Viking and the tourism around the cosmos. And finally, we'll end tonight on a question. What do you do if you run into a Xenos? Let's get started now. In our opening segment, we want to welcome a man few know, but a voice all love, James the Eternal.
Why, Happy Wargaming? Where are we? I demand you return me to the proper administrative site.
As we welcome James to the news desk, we are happy to have someone of such age and record with us. While most everyone does not know James, they do know of his work on such projects as the Altamar bathhouses, the military dispatch orders for the Solaris Crusade, and, of course, how could you forget his work with filing the paperwork to turn Teleran from a jungle planet to a hellish desert world it is now? James the Eternal.
I am not suited for this work. Please return me to my typing interface, or give me a message to read.
James, just focus your big, beautiful cotton and turn your optic unit to the teleprompter. Just read what it says there. That's the real key to being an expert news anchor like me.
This is acceptable. Thank you, Maximilian, for the warm welcome. I am happy to be here, on my own volition and under no duress of any kind of capture or uncouth circumstances.
Right you are! So to our first story, troubling reports out of the oldest sector. An orc Waagh, led by a known threat, Dread the Propagator, seems to have descended across the entire oldest sector. But fear not, loyal citizens, it seems local PDF has been bolstered by the Emperor's Angels. There are reports of several chapters and older patterns defending the refinery platforms from the forces of the Orcs. This assault seems to have been successful on the worlds of Valen's Word and St. Martis, and the chapters that defended XTA 1011, Scotty's Wrath, and Orden's Gym could not be reached for comment. The planet of Scotty's Wrath seems to have shut down all communications to the outside. We have sent a news report servicer down, but the only thing that was recorded was an unusual green glow and electric static feedback. Our apologies as we work with our tech adepts to fix this newscasting problem.
This is troubling. Those armor patterns are not of the Emperor's Angels.
What do you mean? They're clearly using the tactics of the Emperor, and those are clearly Mark III armor.
The ones in white are the World Eaters. The purple ones there are Emperor's Children's. All of these here are fallen sons. This information is classified. We must not broadcast this.
Well, it was before you said it on a live newscast. Please excuse us while we take a brief commercial break and change our location before the Inquisition finds our broadcasting cruiser. Thank you, and stay tuned.
Do you miss that fresh out of the oven smell? When you spent all day working hard in the forges of the Emperor, it's glorious to come home to bread made to the standard that only he would receive, with grains harvested from Iowa, and all hand-picked by quality servitors. You know you're coming home to something special. You know that you're coming home to Imperial bread.
All Imperial breads don't have limits provided these are against sorry, or the please assume only when matched. Do not purchase inserting bread from any unlicensed sources. Purchasing bread from any unlicensed sources can result in a variety of prices, including the elements of summary execution, public execution, being turned into being forced to bring outside being second mind, being shot just because being in life practicing silence training and or as the Imperial needs. Thank you for your memorable day.
Welcome back. As we move to a troubling report from Titus. Accidents have increased by nearly 1,000% in the last week. Workers cite lack of sleep due to loud neighbors and an almost constant level of screaming throughout the world. In a public statement from officials, they are looking into the matter, but stress that Imperial citizens do not need to fear anything. They suggest report your neighbors to the nearest arbitrates officer and allow them to come so you may get your rest and do your Emperor-given work.
All must make sacrifices for the Emperor. Your sacrifices have not gone unnoticed by his gaze.
Correct, and we must remember that we have to report to work. Desertion of your job can result in execution, and if you are a good enough worker, that does not mean the end of your labor. Right, James?
I miss the feeling of wind through my hair and dirt between my fingers. This is a hollow existence of paperwork and drudgery.
Spoken like a true champion of the Emperor.
Now, we must look to Guy de Dip as he takes a look at Viking. This time of year they have a festival to celebrate the renewal of the land. How is your trip, Guy?
Guy de Dip here, and this trip is wonderful. Why, we've had no issue with the people of Viking, and the officers are all just as friendly as helpful as can be. We had gone over to the main chapel of the Emperor, as well as enjoyed many of the local games. The entire planet is a fair atmosphere, and the governor is even giving discount to travel for this week.
Guy, we are getting a lot of feedback. Is everything okay?
Everything's just fine. We started getting this weird feedback when these green light shows started. Look, it's starting up right again behind us.
This is not good. We must notify the Imperial military commander in this area. Grandmaster Zachariah will need to know that this planet is awakening.
Well, of course it's awakening. The spring celebration is all about renewal and rebirth. Isn't that right, Guy? Guy?
I would advise against travel to Viking.
Well, you might, but here at RTN we can't stress enough how wonderful a time you can have this week on Viking. I wonder where Guy will show up next week.
If the Emperor wills it, he will be alive.
And finally, we end our night on a question. Untold billions say they know what to do when they encounter a Xenos, but unfortunately, this has not stopped thousands of citizens from associating and purchasing tech from a variety of Xenos species. Remember, not only is this an offense to the Emperor, but associating with these Tau, Eldar, and even Mutant is no different than keeping company with orcs. Stay safe, listeners, and until next week, happy wargaming. For RTN News, this has been Maximilian Diagonal reporting.
Hey guys, Shade here. Really quick, again, I need to thank you guys for the time and the work you put in rolling dice for us and helping us do things like this. When you play a game on the server, it helps us do something where we can write up stories and make something fun like we have today with Maximilian and James the Eternal. Now, really quick, I know everyone listening to this from the server would probably want a more actual game update, so I'm going to provide that at the end of these from now on, and we're going to go over just some interesting things of note. First of all, let's start off with what the actual worlds are. We're going to start off with Forge World Titus. Now, Forge World Titus had a lot of interesting movement this week, and it's currently 111 for Chaos with 60 points to the Imperial's second. Chaos has a firm control of that and has been searching and finding amazing things there, so there's more to come, I'm sure. In Neo Tokyo, though, it's quite different, with over 90 points for the Imperials and second place only at 12. We're going to have to put in a dent to make sure the Imperials don't run away with that planet. Continuing down the list and just taking a look, we have Scotty's Wrath, which is now a fight between Imperials, Necrons, and Orcs after the incredible invasion battle that we had there last week. Again, I want to thank all of the players involved, and it was just a really good time. Other than that, we go down to Ward 2, which was on fire last week. The Necrons have that with 82. And then we have Ward Prime, of course, at 30 for the Chaos, but the Tyranids are closing in and sneaking up on it. As we shift our focus to individual, the big shout out has to be to the top 5 players. We have 2 Imperials, 2 Necrons, and a Tyranid player stacking games. Elite Slayers coming in first with 20. We then have Argentorum with 18, who is right tied with his Necron buddy Gelded Char at 18, and I know they both have been doing work through the grapevine. Beastly is going to be next at 14 games, and finally Kunikik is at 13. You guys are doing a lot of work for us, and I really heavily appreciate all the games you guys are recording for us and everything you do. Again, without you, this wouldn't be possible. So good luck, guys. Happy Wargaming. I cannot wait to see you and see your results next week. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and have a wonderful day.